Hello, Street Fighters. Welcome to the show. We're taking your calls. It's Sunday night, time for a Street Fight call-in show. As always, that number to dial is 614-655-3887. And you can hear us on WCRS LP FM here in Columbus, Ohio, 92.7 or 98.3 if you're inside 270, the outer belt here in Columbus, Ohio. Excuse me, I started early. My name is Brett Payne. My co-host is Brian Quinby. We have been doing the show for 10 years now. Continue to spread this mess across the U.S. and we'll be getting back on the road very soon. If you want to support what we do, head over to patreon.com/streetfightradio. And that way we won't try to sell you any mattresses or pube shavers or any sort of Ring doorbells. We're not going to do any of that because we are all listener supported. People like you, go to patreon.com/streetfightradio and sign up for that bonus content. Shocktober 3 is wrapping up. The Man Cow episode is out. We're moving into the grab bag season and then on to bigger and better premium episodes. So if you want to hear all of that, head to patreon.com/streetfightradio. For just $5 a month, you can get access today to Shocktober 1, 2, and 3. How you doing, Brian?
Great. I'm doing really good. I do have some ideas. I do have some ideas for the next real mini series, but yeah, like Brett said, I'm going to do a Holy Boys. I'm going to do a Butt Fest. I'm going to do a few other things. Probably get a Heat O'Brien in there somehow. I don't know yet. We have to rethink that because we don't have access to the real sex anymore. But I mean, that's not a big deal. There are a million other things we could do. You know,
right.
Obviously, there's got to be several sex instructional videos, right?
I think there's a few out there.
I've never seen one in my life, but you know, I talked about it on the Heat O'Brien series, but I do have a sex board game, but I'm not gonna play that.
You want to play the sex board game?
You don't want to play with me? You want to play the sex board game with me? I'll like nibble your ear for 30 seconds.
Platonically.
Spin the wheel, fucking you're nibbling. It's like nibble on your ear, and then you spin the wheel again, and it's like suck a titty. But I don't even think it got to titties or anything like that. Like it never got super like dirty or anything. It was a pretty clean sex board game.
Yeah, it was just a jumping off point.
I was thinking all fucking like thinking the other day I was out and walking, and I was thinking I was listening to something where they were talking about gummies, and I started thinking about edible underwear. And just like, has anybody ever like for a shoot done the edible underwear? Because I have actually looked at pictures of the edible underwear and they look ridiculous. I don't think I've ever seen them on somebody, but it's like you put on a fruit roll up. It's like just a fruit roll up. Yeah, shaped like underwear. And it's like I can't think of anything like less sexy, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's good for energy. A good boost of like fructose, some fruit syrup, some fruit sugar will get you going. That's just what you need to be munching on eating a fruit roll up out of your lover's crotch.
Wouldn't it? If they had the tropical fruit roll-ups, I probably would like get way into that sexually because I love those tropical fruit roll-ups, the ones that are like yellow and green tie-dyed.
Yeah.
That might actually get me.
If they had a Starburst flavored one, yeah, I would definitely pause. I would take a pause or like, oh, let's have some Starburst before we get started. The one I'm looking at is a candy G-string. It's kind of like the candy necklace. So this one is does have an elastic band so it stays on, but you're also like biting hard candy off of someone's pubes.
No.
You know, somebody's into it, I'm sure. Some of this stuff kind of gets into my favorite part of sex. The eating has never been my favorite part of sex. Eating food There's some good aspects. You can add some sensual stuff, but like if we're naked, yeah, the food, we can pause on the snacks.
Not hungry. Like,
Not hungry right
hungry
now.
right now.
I'm hungry
Yeah.
for something else.
Yeah, yeah. Just fucking eating a loaf of bread while you're having sex sounds.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, that sounds hot to me. But
Really?
like an Italian loaf, just fucking gnawing on it,
or like a baguette. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, it's a mouth sensation. It's a pleasurable mouth feel and
certainly
taste.
is. It certainly is. Yeah, I'm you know, things are I've had a cool weekend, I guess. You know,
yeah?
The weather is almost perfect, I think, for guys like me.
Not for guys like me.
Because I'm a hot body gentleman. So when it's, 56 degrees, I mean, impossible to dress for sure.
It's awful. Yeah, I have to have like base layers in the car and like secret just clothes stuck everywhere. A bag full of clothes ready to go.
Yeah, because I like put on a base layer today and a long sleeve t-shirt, and I was like, that's probably perfect. And then as I got moving,
you fucked up.
Fucking sweating my nuts off.
Yeah.
Had to fucking go. I just took the base layer off and threw it in my backpack, but like I was so hot. And every day now I leave my house and then walk around the block and then come back and put on the appropriate clothes because it's impossible to fucking know until you're moving. That's why the fall is like I don't like the fall at all.
So much fucking laundry.
Yes, laundry too. Laundry. And I just, for me, it's like spring and summer are just the only time of year that are good. And like I can't deal with the other seasons. So I'm punting it down the road though. It's like a little warmer this week, but the sun's been out, and I think I even have a sunburn because when it's chillier outside, I don't put a sunscreen on. And I've been like forcing myself to hydrate, which is like that's like the new thing, right? Not like new, but like people buying those massive, enormous fucking water bottles that is like, you're doing great after you've drank like 3 milk cartons of water. Like I'm trying to like keep, because like I dehydrate a lot during the winter and the fall because it's not super hot and I'm not sweating all over the place. So I don't think to drink. I never think to drink ever. I don't know why. I don't know why we have to drink to stay alive, yet we have to force ourselves to drink enough to stay alive. It's the oddest thing. Well, what's the deal with that?
Yeah, I would say I'm bad about it, but I do just get it all in because of how absent-minded I am. Like I will start like sipping a glass of water and I'm like, no, chug it all right now. Do not sip on this 16 ounces of water for the whole afternoon.
So smart. That is actually
knock them back.
Like, yeah, that's super smart to like just every time you have it, you just fucking go nuts on it.
Yeah.
You're just like, I'm just going to fucking drink the whole thing right now. That is probably the prime way to fucking do it.
Do it until you choke on it.
Yeah. For sure.
You happen to go anywhere or do anything?
I don't fucking happen to go anywhere or do anything ever. I watched a movie yesterday. The Harder They Fall.
Oh yeah.
I watched that.
Wait, oh no, I was thinking The Harder They Come.
Or The Harder They Come, whichever one. It's the new Western. It's a Western.
No, The Harder They Come is the old Jimmy Cliff, like Jamaican crime movie. You should watch that movie too. You would like that.
I should. This is a movie about it's a Western. It's a black Western, really.
Okay.
Is like the whole thing about it. But it's pretty good, It was okay. It's very violent. I kind of dug the like using the blood like splatter. I kind of enjoy, but it's just like a classic Western. It looks like a spaghetti Western, which I love those fucking movies so much. Like the For a Few Dollars More, Fistful of Dollars, and the other cowboy movie, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I love cowboy movies. I just like cowboys. I wish I was a cowboy.
You would be the
Um,
worst cowboy. Oh my God. So much complaining.
That's true. That's
It's
true.
hard
I
life.
did.
Uh,
Go ahead, Brett.
I was gonna say, I do recommend you leave the house and do something. You should take your wife on a date. You should take her out.
We're
to
doing
eat.
that. We're
You should go
doing
out to
that
eat.
next week. Yeah, we're talking about it. We're gonna figure out a date next week
because
we've already decided.
Yeah, because I was thinking about it, and like I went to the theater to go see Young Frankenstein the musical, and I was like, I have seen more movies in theaters this year than I did in the entire 2019.
Oh,
Like
yeah?
I've seen more movies and more concerts than I did in 2019. So I'm pretty confident the vaccine is doing just fine. And I've also eaten bareface quite a bit. Now I am like a super stickler about the mask. Like if I walk into a place and they're like, oh, nobody's wearing masks in here, and like other people I'm with take their mask off, like I'll still keep mine on. Like I don't care. I'll still wear mine. But for the most part, yeah, I mean, I would say do not let the weather get you down. Go eat at a restaurant and get out of there. You're going to be fine.
Yeah, we're talking about it. We already are talking about that, going out on a date. Not maybe next Friday, because Full Gear is Saturday and I'm doing like a little Full Gear thing over here. But I did. Do we have calls? Should we solicit calls? Where
we
are
have
we
calls.
On calls? We got calls.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's stop. Let's not do this. I want to show the listeners something I picked up. It's probably something you all thought I should have picked up a long effing time ago, right? An employment application for Smoothie King.
Oh, fun.
And Wednesday we'll read through the preliminary questions, Brett. They're very interesting.
Those are especially heinous.
I don't know. I mean, I'll just ask you the first question, because this is what made me pick it up. Is the first question, which is a question that cannot be answered. No human can answer this question.
Okay.
There's nobody on the planet. What is your availability for the next 12 months?
Woof. Who knows, man? An airplane could fall out of the sky.
Literally, nobody knows what their availability is for 3 weeks. 3 weeks out, you're like, I don't fucking know, man. I guess it's Thanksgiving. We'll probably meet up somewhere and eat like turkey or something. I don't fucking know. I don't know what my availability is tomorrow. Really. For me personally, availability is a day-to-day situation.
Yeah.
I make that decision when I wake up that day.
That is the only way to really honor how you really feel. If because like you're available, but are you fully available? You know,
No.
like, yeah, like my time is open, but I'm not available to receive orders from a boss right now. I'm not available to wait on somebody to get no tips.
Fucking Smoothie King is a wild ass place, man, because you go in there, you order a smoothie, you think, okay, I'm gonna get myself a nice little smoothie, and then they tell you it's $13, and you're like, that's the craziest price I've ever heard for anything to drink.
Yeah, the one near you also, the same person that takes your order makes the smoothies usually, and I don't know if they like grind up everything with a fucking mortar and pestle, but you usually got to wait a hefty 15 minutes for your fucking smoothie. I mean, they can make a whole fucking meal.
I order ahead on that and just run in and pick it up.
Smart.
It's perfect.
Smart.
But like, yeah, Smoothie King, they have an interesting set of preliminary questions. I do want to say again, no one knows what their availability is for 12 months. That is like such an unrealistic expectation for anybody to have. And like, if you ask the person who made the job application what their availability is for the next 12 months, they like also wouldn't know. But they're people who probably work like 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 in the office building, the corporate office of Smoothie King, like where people have like just the same hours every week. So they're like, oh yeah, my availability is like 8 to 4 Monday through Friday. And it's like, motherfucker,
Yeah.
There gotta be something else. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Coming Wednesday, we will read a fucking job application. Hey, get a freaking job, you bums, is what I say.
Yeah, I'm definitely contemplating getting a job, just because it seems super funny and it's also worth it now. Like the numbers they're putting up are just fucking ridiculous. $18 an hour and shit at some
Oh, they are
places.
putting some numbers up. They are putting tight numbers up, but your availability is not great.
I have a terrible availability.
Fast food place.
No, I have a terrible availability. That's why I would do it for 1 week or something, just to get like, just to feel it again, just to feel like what it's like. I kind of just want to get treated bad and make a friend, someone that seems like going to be like my lifelong friend, and then I never see him again, you know, something shit like that.
Yeah, that is a good point. Somebody wants a count on my food place apps. I don't have a lot. I just Starbucks and then the regular apps that everybody orders food with, and Donato's and Bren's Pizza and Five Guys and Whole Foods.
What?
And also that Slice, which is an app just for ordering pizzas, and Chipotle. And also
it's just one. You said, I think is when you started, you said just one or two.
Just the regular ones. I just get the regular ones.
A couple.
Yeah, just the regular, the ones everybody fucking has. Yeah, that's it. That's not that many, really, in the grand scheme of things. But when you think about how many are involved in Uber Eats and Grubhub, and DoorDash, you're looking at a lot. I saw some DoorDash shit the other day though that was like a guy went to tip. No, it was DoorDash. It was the drinking one, the liquor one. Do you know the liquor drizzly?
No.
Okay, so there is a liquor delivery service that I believe is owned by DoorDash.
Okay.
And this guy ordered like over $100 worth of booze, and it was being delivered on a bike. And so he tipped the guy like, I don't know, like $25. I guess for the example here is for $25. Guy pulls up on his bike. He meets him out to get the liquor, and the guy's like, gee, I wish you would have tipped more. And the guy was like, I thought I tipped a good amount. Here, I'll show you. He goes to show him his phone, and the guy shows him his phone, and it said the tip was $4.
Oh shit.
So they're like comparing their phones, and it knocked off, $20 off of this guy's tip. For some reason, it was very strange. Drizzly or whatever the liquor one is.
It's an Uber company.
Is it Uber? I thought it was DoorDash because they were yelling at DoorDash on Twitter for it. So I don't know.
That's fucked up. I mean, that doesn't. I know. I mean, I guess how would you know? And they all use that double speak where it's just like your tip payout is. They don't say like how, they don't show you the math or anything.
Right. And there is no way for the driver or person to know what your tip was. Right. And there's no way for you to know how much of your tip they got. There's no transparency in these apps and shit like that. Like there's just no way to know. It's the same thing when you talk about like Netflix or any of those things. It's like nobody knows who's watching those fucking shows. They don't release the numbers. Nobody knows what anybody's fucking watching on Netflix. They could be watching zero of the stuff on there.
I mean, I would say, I don't know. It's like the general public really is just that naive and boneheaded to think that these companies are lying to them. But I mean, maybe just have to ask for the Venmo or Cash App. I had the guy, I called for roadside assistance, and this guy came pretty damn quick in the rain, and he changed my fucking shit in the rain. And then I was like, what's your Venmo, man? And he just told me, and then I sent him $20, like, and so, yeah. But I also didn't have to pay for the service. I have roadside assistance on my phone, but it was like I felt bad for the guy. I know he's not getting anything. They make him work in their own damn cars. They're all independent contractors. Probably get
I know.
$8 for the fucking job.
I know someone who really fought for that job. Like, this fucking guy goes to college for high performance automotive shit, right? And he gets out and he graduates, and he's like not really qualified to do a lot, you know, like he's qualified to work on high-end cars, I guess, but like the amount of jobs, everybody I know that went to this school came out and they just work at auto part stores.
Right.
So this dude, he goes to the school and then like finds out about the AAA, whatever the AAA roadside assistance gimmick is, and he's like fighting to get that job, and he finally gets that job, and it ends up like piecework where you weren't getting paid hardly fucking anything. You're always out in the goddamn snow towing people and stuff like that. It just ended up being like such a miserable job that this guy just started his own towing company. Yeah, which also sounds like a miserable job, but like if you own the company, like I have this uncle, and this is like really white trash on my white trash side, which is both sides, but I'll just say on my white trash side, I have this uncle who owns a tow truck company that like literally he never made any real money because he turned down so many jobs.
Nice.
They would just be like, I need a tow truck. And he's like, we're not available, because he's like home watching TV.
Yeah, it's great.
It's so funny though, man. He was like super overextended on his credit for like jet skis and trucks and fucking campers and stuff like that, because he owns a business.
Yeah,
they would give him like a line of credit, but he was just like, man, I mean, go out and tow a car. That sounds like it sucks.
For what? $50? I'll just eat less this week. I'll just wear a hole in my shoes. No, actually, the guy that did my tattoo, Evan at Cyclops Tattoo, I was talking to him and he was like, yeah, I bought this place. And I was like, you bought this place? And he was like, yeah, I'm technically the owner. And I was like, you own this tattoo shop? That's amazing. But he has no portfolio online or on Instagram. And I was like, what do you do, man? He's like, I just let people walk in and I do a few tattoos and I go home, like he does the minimum amount of work possible. Like he just does his tattoos for the day. He's not trying to set up like elaborate back pieces and win competitions and push it to the limit. He's just like, someone comes in, so they want a fucking frog, he does it. A devil, he does it, whatever the fuck. And then he just goes away from it. I love that attitude, doing the least.
Yeah, you can make a gajillion dollars if you like just learned how to draw the block O and Buckeye and Columbus.
Yeah,
you'd be the richest motherfucker if you just opened up a tattoo shop and that's the only tattoo you did. If you opened up the Scarlet and Gray tattoo shop and that's all you fucking did, you'd be Elon Musk in like 6 months. It's incredible, because I mean, everybody has Brutus Buckeye or a Block O in this city. Like that's the tattoo that tattoo guys do here. I
should get a Block O for my calf, just to part of my tradition.
It is like part of where you're from. Like the Block O or Brutus Buckeye on your body tattooed is like really where you come from in this world.
Yeah. Like when I lived in Texas, I noticed everyone in Texas has a tattoo of Texas on them. And I got a tattoo of Texas on me when I lived there. My daughter was born there too. But I think the Block O is probably the best way to honor my Midwestern heritage, my Columbus heritage, really.
Yeah, don't get like, the fucking thing is, if you get like Ohio tattooed on you,
no,
like the shape of the state or anything like that, it'll look like you're trying to be tasteful.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So you want to get like a Block O or a fucking Brutus Buckeye, because then you're like, I'm from Ohio and this is like actually my heritage. I'm not like I grew up in a home with a Buckeye room. Even if you didn't grow up in a home with a Buckeye room, you were fucking in several Buckeye rooms.
Yep. Spent a lot of
I've
time
been
at
in a million Buckeye rooms. And my aunt has a Buckeye room, and then her bathroom's Michigan, done in Michigan. So you can shit where Michigan is. You know,
I'm gonna get like I'm gonna get like 3 slashes on the back of my calf, like ripping my flesh open, and underneath it's gonna be scarlet and gray. That's like the kind of Columbus guy I want to be.
Like slashes, but it's fucking like a kind of dark Freddy Krueger version of Brutus Buckeye coming through there.
What?
like just the fucking Grady reboot of Brutus Buckeye.
How many evil Brutus Buckeye tattoos are there out in the world?
There can't be any. There can't be any evil Brutus pictures. Probably there's crying Brutus on High Street. There is a on High Street. There's like a tattoo shop that has Brutus Buckeye with the earth in his hands, and he's crying.
What? Where?
You've never seen that? I'll have to get you a picture of that sometime. It's right on High Street, like on North Campus. And it's the oddest thing because like I like can't figure out what they're trying to say. Like it's like, oh, he's holding the whole world in his hands and he's crying for the sins of the world is all like what I'm looking at.
Like he's a Jesus type figure or something.
Yeah.
He's the protector of the earth. Is he one of the old guardians? He's like one of maybe. I mean, he's an eternal. I mean, he is a man that has a nut for a head, so he is a mythical creature, probably some sort of Zeus type thing, where like Zeus nutted on a Buckeye tree and then it turned into a man or something. Like that happened all the time back then.
There's so little lore about him. Like there's no Brutus Buckeye lore. They're just like, you know, it's a nut and it's a nut with a body. There's no lore to it. I maybe I just write the fucking Brutus Buckeye fucking autobiography, you know, and like that self-publish, and it's another way I'll make $1 million because people would buy the hell out of that if it's like, how did Brutus Buckeye, you know, happen?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some history and figure it out.
I don't think there is an evil Brutus slicing through your legs would be the coolest thing, though.
They wanted to do a deer. They wanted to do a buck deer, but they because they used to bring live animals to football games, you know, back in the old days, wheeling 60s. So instead they went with the Buckeye. Yeah, that's not a good one. It's like we were gonna bring this like fucking sick 12-point buck out here, and then we couldn't, so we got this little nut man.
A fucking deer would be tight though, man. Deers can look evil. Like,
and if you just, dude, imagine just letting a buck run through the stands, like trying to navigate the crowd, just like tearing people apart. It'd be like a running of the bulls, where that motherfucker would just go wild in there, kicking and stomping and rooting and shit, and you would just have to fucking stay on your toes. It'd be a game in the field and in the stands.
I saw a moose. I did see a moose go into a school. At like last week. They said nobody got hurt, but like the room was destroyed and the moose piss and shit all over the room.
That's calamity.
Yeah, I would love that if something like that happened. I remember growing up, like it was so weird because like I would hear stories of deer like jumping through windows and like really ruining the whole house and shit like that. And I was like kind of afraid of that for a while, for a period. But then I figured like I've never seen a deer before. I don't live where there's deer. So I feel pretty safe, actually.
Okay. Well, you ready to take these calls?
Yeah. Right. You got to see the new Brutus from 1975. Now that's a fucking evil looking motherfucker.
Brutus 1975?
Yeah, Brutus Buckeye 1975.
Oh wow, yeah. Oh man. He looks like an angry California raisin.
He's pretty scary looking. If you're out there, Google
He's
Brutus 1975.
He's got a crazy Popeye and a real sour attitude.
He looks crazy. He looks like he's winking at you in a way. Like he looks like a creep old guy that winks at women, you know?
Yeah.
Like that guy, like that kind of guy. I can't wink. Very famously, I'll look into the camera and try to wink, and then everybody will laugh at me. Here it is.
He definitely looks like a turd of some sort.
He looks like a turd.
And then also kind of like the Mac the Knife Night the Moon from like the McDonald's commercial. It's a terrible look.
Yeah. I wish that was this new. I hope we go back to that.
What if they did retro? What if they did a retro, like a homage mascot next year, and it was the 75 Buckeye?
They'll never bring it back because it's too fucking disturbing looking. Like if you took that thing out on the field in front of kids,
yeah, they would. Oh
like,
yeah,
no way, get that thing away. Like kids are fucking afraid of Chuck E. Cheese, dude.
Oh yeah.
Imagine they bring this guy to them.
He's like a big bullfrog ass throat and stuff. That's just like this huge waddle that's hanging down. Looks like he could swallow you up like a fucking pelican.
He's so scary. Look at his neck is so big. He's got a fucking huge neck. It's not like his head's a nut, really. It's more like a weird, huge neck. Whoever made that thing they probably got sued later on. I need to get my hands on that, man. That thing is cool as hell.
Yeah,
that's my tattoo I'm getting.
That's the tattoo. That's the tattoo. People are like, do you have a winking turd tattooed on your leg? No, that's Brutus Buckeye.
1975.
Don't you know anything?
Brutus for 1975. I don't know what to fucking tell you.
Just become a complete fanatic about 70s Ohio State. Talk about them all the time, and then get a tattoo of it, just to remind them who the history of their Brutus Buckeye. King
Kami in the chat said he's terrifying, and then somebody said, "Oh wow, he looks like some Hills Have Eyes shit."
Yeah,
honestly, one of the scariest things I could imagine.
That's why our parents' generations were so fucked up, man. They would just put this stuff in front of them.
That's why they voted for Trump.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep.
We explained Trump. That fucking thing was in their faces while they were growing up.
They're like,
you need a shirt.
If you want to inspire confidence, you need someone with a big neck waddle and an eye and a wink that's menacing.
I'm looking at a drawing of it when they put the costume on, because like fucking furry technology didn't exist yet back then. Like they didn't know how to make costumes, so they basically made this terrifying looking mask, and then it's just a regular guy like running around underneath outside of it. Like it's got guy arms and a guy body, like a regular dude body, and this fucking horrifying head. It's really one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
I'm glad we found it.
Maybe my new Ohio heritage. I'm gonna show it to my wife when we finish and say, hey, found my tattoo. Found a tattoo I'm gonna get. You look like a Tootsie Roll.
Yeah. Yep. Well, at least I have something to talk about with Buckeye fans now. That's helpful. I can just bring this up.
Have you seen? I've always, and you could be like a deep old school Buckeye guy now too, because you can just be like, I personally prefer 1975 Brutus.
Yeah,
I'm more into the Brutus from 1975.
All right, let's get some calls.
All right,
thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
This is Pharmacist.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up, guys? This is Matt from Memphis.
What's up, Matt? How's it going?
Going good. Got a kind of street fight day today. I'm stuck at a truck stop in Cuba, Missouri, which seems, in Cuba, which is pretty dope. did some gambling today, read some Das Capital.
Why are you stuck there?
Called
This is like a trucker thing?
because yeah, I can only work. I'm only legally allowed to work 70 hours a week,
Oof.
and I've worked a little over 65 hours this week on just trying to get shit where my company's telling me to get shit. And I think like the past 6 days, other than, today I had off, in 6 days I drove like 3,200 miles,
Okay.
like 9-10 hour days. And I guess I just wanted to sort of vent about the trucking industry in general. I started out driving about a month ago, and I remember calling y'all up when I was just starting trucker school and everything, but now the honeymoon of, oh man, you're gonna make so much money, and you're gonna love everything about this job has worn off a little bit. Like the first thing that really caught my eye was I got sent the company manual, and I just out of curiosity searched for the word union, and under union policy in big capital letters it says, "We are union free. Our drivers are union free. It is certainly the company's desire that we will always stay that way." So it's like, oh.
That is like, though, the thing about that, Matt, though, is like, I'm going to say this. Every job I've ever had has had like that line. Me and Brett just covered the Dollar General Union unionization effort in Maine, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And they have that in their manual too. I think that's a fairly standard thing in manuals. It don't mean I think trucking sounds like what's the word? Like a more complicated union to make, because you are disconnected from your
for sure.
fellow workers in a way, unless you're meeting up with them at truck stops and stuff. I don't know when I was a kid, I used to have to go to Oklahoma and Kansas. Well, I did it twice. I had to go to Oklahoma and Kansas to visit my mother. And my stepdad was a truck driver for a period of time, not for a super long time or anything like that. And we would stop at truck stops, and he would know everybody at the truck stop. Not everybody, but like people would straight up be like, "What's up, Ken?" And he'd be like, "Hey, Becky," or whatever the person's name is that's like working there. And so maybe there is a chance to build a sort of solidarity. Plus the internet exists, but like it seems like a uniquely difficult industry to unionize to me.
For sure. And like one thing I am kind of kicking myself about now that I'm starting out, I'm kind of on the hook with this company for a year. My starting pay is 30 cents a mile. And I remembered after I graduated from trucker school, talked to a buddy of mine back home in the Teamsters, and he's like, "You're making what?" "Oh shit, man! You should talk to me, dumbass. The union would have paid for your school, and you'd be making like 80 grand, not driving 60 hours a week."
Whoa!
If you'd started out with a union gig, and so that's something I'm going to be looking into down the road. But I kind of have thought about the question of like, so how do you go about organizing such an atomized industry as the trucking industry? And one thing I've thought about doing that might be a little harebrained, but I think I can get away with it is so after seeing the union stuff in the company manual, I got thinking, you know what, I want to read more about this trucking industry stuff. And then just like a random article, I saw that the company that I'm working for, or I think it might even been a podcast, but the company I'm working for in 2020 settled a lawsuit for like $16 million over not paying some of their employees the federal minimum wage.
Oh God, of course.
So I got thinking, you know, what if like next time I get back home, I make some copies of you know, the page describing their non-union policy, and I make some copies of the summary of this this lawsuit settlement. I just put those side by side in the driver's lounge of the company yards I had along my route, and just you know, kind of let people draw their own conclusions a little bit. But
Yeah.
I guess
mean,
another
are
thing,
there
a buddy of
trucker
mine
groups? Are there trucker groups like on Facebook and shit like that? Like,
yeah,
that sort of
I'm
thing?
in a pretty big one called Leftist Trucker Collective. And I guess like potentially, you know, I could reach out to people there, but on there, a lot of folks are kind of reticent to disclose what company they're working for, worrying about retaliations. And then other folks are owner operators. They either lease or own their own truck. And so that would take like an industry-wide union, which would be rad, but we're just not really there yet.
Probably a few conservatives in the
Organization-wise,
trucking
I don't
industry,
think.
I would guess. Like one or two
Yeah.
conservatives, you know. Having been in a truck stop, having been in a few truck stops in my day, maybe that's what we have to do. You know, me and Brett, and we have to manufacture just piles and piles of like junk with leftist slogans on it to sell at truck stops. You know, because like really the truck stop. I love truck stops. You know, big Pilot fan over here. I love to go to a Pilot. I mean, I personally, if I had to choose my favorite truck stops ever, they're the ones in Tennessee or the South, right? Where like they're not part of a chain. They're just have collections of weird stuff and weird people in them.
Yeah, alligator heads and their own booze and stuff like that. Peaches.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, but I love truck stops, but wow. I mean, they sell so much conservative stuff. It's like, it's a hack thing now for people to like post pictures of all that stuff. But man, when you're in a lot of these Pilot stations and Flying J's, it hits you pretty, you're just like, Jesus Christ. Not conservative shit here.
There is a whole section in the truck stop I'm at dedicated to different styles of Second Amendment hats, which I'm all about the guns. Like I think that's rad, but like the angle of these hats definitely has more of a conservative reactionary approach to the messaging, I'd say, than a under no pretext should the workers be disarmed vibe.
Right. Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I mean, this is the problem with a lot of industries where people are pitted against each other, and it feels like, you can make a lot of money on your own if you're willing to work 70 hours or whatever. People feel like they don't want to go in with other people, and that it's going to mess up their thing, and they'd rather just deal with whatever they get, but they don't realize how much they're missing out on, and that they shouldn't be working like this. No one should be required to work that many hours at all ever.
Yeah, exactly. Because like you can make good money, but I've made like $1,000 in a week working for this company, but like I got to be hitting like 60 hours to do that.
Yeah.
I know you're like away from your family and stuff, but is there like still a sense of adventure in it now, or are you kind of over?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like there's definitely like part of that vibe is still there. But like at the same time, like when I have a crazy week, like the week I just had, and like the stuff of like I'm gonna have like probably 2, maybe 3 days home and over the course of the month, and it's like, man, like this is definitely some work I'm putting in.
Yeah, I mean,
but it is cool seeing a bunch of places. I pity Brett for having to drive in Dallas traffic, though. That shit definitely sucks, man.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah. Then we had a straight shot to my wife's job, and then I stayed away from most of the rush hour stuff. Totally not worth it. And there's so many fucking lanes.
Yeah. It is interesting because it's like, I mean, humans have the great ability to want a type of employment, and then when they get it, be like, I hate this type of employment.
Yeah.
Like, there's something about us having that ability, because I know that's how I would be if I got to drive a truck. And I I've said on the show before, like that's like, a different lifetime for me. That's like a dream job that I really wanted to do, because I felt like I was going to get to see the country. But like, I was just curious about the amount of time it takes for you to be like, I don't give a fuck about the country anymore. I don't need to see it.
Yeah, I mean, the weird thing is for me, like, I actually like the work. It's just like the conditions of it, I just think could and should be so much better. Like, if you didn't have to work 60 plus hours a week to make 60 grand, like if you had more time at home doing this job, like especially with the whole bullshit narrative out there of oh, we got this huge trucker shortage going on right now, we got to let 18-year-olds drive these giant murder machines, and all that nonsense that the industry is putting out and the press is dutifully repeating. Like, you would think if that were the case that that we'd start seeing some significant improvements on that front, but there's just such a churn in the industry, such a rate of turnover. Some companies it's 90% or more year over year, because it's a lot of hard work. And if it's not a job that works for a lot of people if they have family or kids and stuff. Like, it kind of fits for me because I don't have kids or wife or partner or anything. But for a lot of people, like there's a crazy divorce rate in this industry, and just it can take a toll on people.
Yeah, I mean it's extreme, and I mean it's extreme circumstances to put somebody in like totally inhumane conditions, working hours, and the pay. Like that's unacceptable.
Yeah,
Even
like where you
$1,000 is
live at your
unfucking
office.
acceptable. Yeah, and yeah, you're
Like
literally like
there's not a lot of people who would agree to live at their office for like a week at a time or more.
yeah, and never have a place, yeah, never have a hometown bar, or never have like a place where you can go and see people regularly. It's like a new place all the time. But I guess like Brian said, maybe you get to just know everybody on your routes. Those are your new friends.
I mean, when you say hometown bar, though, it does strike me that like when you are out there on the road, to me, it seemed when I rode with my when I rode with my uncle the one time, like it didn't seem like you were gonna be able to like go to the bar anyway, because at the end of the like you basically, I mean, what happened with him was I don't know what the amount of hours it is that you're allowed to work in a day, but he wanted to get home that night, so he couldn't even stop to go to the bathroom or anything, because like he would have had to pull over to the side of the road and sleep at a rest area. So like that's the other thing, is like it's not like it doesn't seem to me, and I might be mistaken, that you get to pull into a city and kind of see what's going on in that city. You get to like drive until it's time to stop and then sleep in your truck and then drive again the next day.
Right.
Exactly. Like you've got for a 24-hour period, you can drive for 11 hours. You can be on duty for 14 hours, and you can't drive for more than 8 hours without taking a 30-minute break.
All right, that should do it. Yeah, that's enough to get me through my next 8-hour shift, is just 30 minutes to kind of sit down.
Crazy.
And then,
I mean,
you have to, after you use up your 11 hours of driving time, then you have to have a 10-minute break before you can drive again. So you got to be really cognizant of like planning. Okay, where's my place I'm going to be able to stop and take that long break, so I don't wind up having to pull over on the side of the road.
See, that's crazy too. It's like it's so inflexible that like basically like you could find yourself in a situation where you have to just pull over to the side of the road and sleep in your truck. Like, what a fucking
absolutely. People, I see it all the time.
I mean, it would be, to me, it's like I don't want people driving huge semis tired. And I also don't think that somebody should have to work more than 8 hours a day, right? But like, I mean, I don't think somebody should have to work more than 6 hours a day, really, in my opinion. But
For
like,
sure.
I don't know. I guess like it's like the pushing it is really bad, but it's like there's got to be some way to route this sort of thing so that like that doesn't happen. There has to be a way to make it so people aren't like driving more than 8 hours at a time and shit like that. Like that doesn't seem impossible. Like there is use the algorithm, use fucking technology, and figure out like where people can stop, how to get things there efficiently. I'm sure they're already doing stuff like that, but like just being like, hey, you can drive 16 hours a day, but you got to fucking stop for 10 minutes every now and then, is like a really fucking it's like a stupid way to do things. And it also bakes into the job that you're going to work 16 hours a day. That like once you make a rule like that,
sure.
it then bakes it into the job, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and especially because like the majority of truck drivers, at least that I've talked to, these days, you know, none of us are getting paid hourly for the most part. we're getting paid per mile. So you wind up in a situation where there's a big traffic jam, and you're stuck crawling along at a mile per hour through traffic for an hour. Then you get to say, "Oh, good, I made 30 cents in the last hour. Awesome."
Oh, I couldn't. I would melt down every day. I can't do that. I would fucking melt down if I felt like there's a thing with me that's like, if I feel like I'm being taken advantage of, or if I'm like failing and losing the game, then I fucking shut down and have a panic or something, you know? And like, I guess that's part of the
I
job.
can relate to that.
Yeah, where it's
Yeah.
like I just made 30 fucking cents. What the fuck? You know, and nobody wants to let you over because you're in a truck too. That's the other problem. Like, I mean, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest with you, I ain't letting you over. So well, thanks for calling, Matt. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome to talk with y'all.
Yeah, have a good night.
Appreciate it.
You too.
Yeah, Violent Orchid in the chat, Brett, said maybe we could use trains. And like I really love that idea.
Really?
I also love the idea that they would lay more train tracks so they could get to people more. But it feels like we've set up a world now that makes it nearly fucking impossible to move away from semis.
Yeah,
you
trains
know?
in America fucking suck.
Yeah, I think at some point though, like you could make them better. Like I think the point is like to invest in trains and also passenger trains, and you know, that kind of thing. That would be fucking great. But like it feels like we've set everything up so sprawled out that like it makes a lot of that stuff impossible, you know?
No, we're not there anymore. There's no cohesion in this country. There's no camaraderie. There's no idea of like all of us together could do a big project. Everybody just hates the fucking government and wants it to go down in flames. So we're not getting trains that work in America ever. Sorry, it's a pipe dream.
Would love them. I gotta say, like, you know, if you grew up in especially in Columbus, Ohio, there is every 2 or 3 years the rumor kicks up that they're gonna have a fucking bullet train to Chicago and Cleveland and Pittsburgh, and like just like a nice little hub where you can get to, you know, get to Chicago in 3 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's never gonna happen, but it's like I would work in Chicago if you get there in 3 hours.
Yeah, people are buying yachts that cost the amount of money it would take to do that project.
That's true. That is true.
And they still won't give it.
I once saw a timeshare on a cruise ship, which is the only timeshare I'd probably ever get. Because
Okay.
I think it would be neat to be on like a cruise ship that like you kind of that's like more lived in, not like a traditional one where it's just like a mall, but it's like an apartment building that's a cruise ship with like, you know, I play some shuffleboard, I make my own drinks, bring my own food sort of thing, like that kind of situation. I love
No.
that.
Who would the fuck would you're gonna pack all of your food to take on a cruise with you?
Not all of it, some of it. Maybe there's a chef or two on there. I don't know. I just remember reading this thing and thinking like, but I am like a transportation guy. I'm the most transportation oriented guy in the world. I want to take a luxury train trip. I want to fucking fly in a blimp. I want to like, there's so many fucking things I want to do. By the way, Mancow did test the highest of anybody in the Bally's Corporation on the blimp flying test. Like
Sure.
They wanted him to fly a blimp, but he decided to go into radio instead. So
Yeah, I mean, luxury train trip is a definite no for me. I'd rather be doing stuff and having fun and enjoying my time instead of just clunkily eating terrible food for 10 days to get to California.
I'm saying the word luxury is key in that situation, though. You know, it's
There's
like,
no mobile food is going to be luxury. That's a misnomer.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you are right. I would like to do the train across the country. You know, I
Yeah.
saw somebody
It's a
on
great way to
Twitter.
waste $15,000.
It is expensive. It's too expensive. That is true.
What were you gonna say?
True. I saw somebody on Twitter that's walking from LA to New York, and they're doing about the same mileage that I would do.
Okay.
Now I'm full on want to do it really bad. Like it's 30 miles a day.
And how long does it take?
3 months, I think, or 2.5 months.
That's not bad.
No, and I mean it would be like an incredible achievement. And I'm basically doing, you know, I get up around 30 miles sometimes. Not as much this year, but you know, more around a 25 point. So
Start when it's cold up here, and then, or like, I guess if it's only 3 months, you could do it in the fucking summer or spring. You're gonna be in the desert at some point, maybe.
yeah, that's the thing. I don't like the desert very much. Not a
The
desert
desert's-
guy.
It's amazing. Desert's amazing. Not
Dries you
great.
out, bro.
Not great for walking. You have to move extremely slow. All right,
Yeah,
let's get
and it
these.
dries you out.
Let's
Take
get these
calls.
calls. You can bring moisturizer and
Chapstick.
Yeah, you can suck on a sugar cube.
Drink some water, I guess. Hydrate, as they say.
Force yourself to drink water. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, it's Max Sell from Diamonds Podcast, but you might remember me as the girl that got you a lot of drugs when you were in New York City, allegedly. Allegedly in New York City.
I will never forget you.
Yeah.
I think about you all of the time.
And I also brag to everybody I
thank
know that,
you.
like, I brag to everybody I know that, like, you're one of my best friends and you're like the coolest person that knows like all the New York City hardcore scene and has hookups to everybody. So you've helped increase my own mythos.
I love that because like my parasocial relationship with you guys before that was so intense, but I did talk about you guys like you were my best friends. And I remember when I met you and Brett, you brought the portable dab rig, which is just like king shit. I had never done dabs before. And here I am like stoned out of my mind, realizing that I have heard you guys talk for like, you know, like 50 or 60 hours at least. And now I'm like very, very high, taking you to a 67-year-old lady's house to allegedly procure OxyContin. But anyway,
one of the greatest experiences of my life. Like I'm not even bullshitting that, like, meeting somebody in New York that can get any kind of drugs allegedly that you could ever want, and then also shows you around Brooklyn, was one of the just fucking, I brag about it to my wife all the time. I'm like, oh, you should have been there. It was like all the drugs you could ever think of. It was wonderful.
if you're to summarize New York in one way, I am happy that that is it. You guys are welcome back anytime, of course, when this, you know, subsides. I have a much nicer place you can meet me at than that location. But anyways,
We'll be there sooner
in.
than later, I believe. New York is high on the list of places that we want to go to.
Okay, I'm glad that's the case. Anyways, I called in tonight about something that's really sawing my dick off, and as a trans woman, I don't use that term loosely. Are you guys up on this BBC article?
No, what is it? Let me see here. Oh,
yeah. Can you hear me okay, by the way?
yeah, we can hear you. There's a slight delay because we're remote and stuff. That's all.
Okay,
so
cool.
It takes a
I
second.
just have a tendency to talk all over people, but yeah. So there's this BBC article, and like, it would be one thing if it was, you know, just some right-wing rag, or like, I mean, all news is, but or some weird opinion piece that you section off. But this is straight up the front page of the BBC News. It's about 5,000 words, and it opens with. Oh, I'm sorry. 1 second. I'm on the phone with somebody. It's a memorial for someone that passed away. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. I'm sitting next to a memorial of a friend. I'll actually move out of the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the piece. I cannot. I don't see.
I'm sending it, Brian.
Well. So yeah, one way to do it is by searching BBC trans lesbians, but that might also get you really, really different results depending on your content filter settings. But so this is the title of the article, and the title it's by Carolyn Lowbridge, which is just like sounds like a British villain when it comes to article writing or journalism. But the title is "We're Being Pressured into Sex by Some Trans Women." Now, that quote actually doesn't appear in the article, nor is this an editorial.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. This is absolutely being reported as hard news, as like news. This is not in the editorial section. And
it's not.
What is it? Is it a turf? I'm not. I can't read the whole thing, but is it like a turf sort of thing?
Yeah. I mean, even though the quote that the article is titled after is not attributed to anybody or in the article, that is the general statement of this article, and it is very carefully and oddly worded. It's like a collection of a series of anecdotes of cis lesbian women who had been pressured into sex or felt pressured into sex by in the article it alleges by trans women, or at least it implies that.
Yeah, and like the woke left, basically, they're saying that like all of their friends are like, you're a bigot if you have a genital preference, or you're a pervert, you're a fetishist, all this stuff. You're a TERF. And then they said they were called TERFs as well. And then there's also a group. There's a picture of a woman in here that's like lesbian, not queer, is also like her group, I guess.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it's a great shirt. I kind of want it.
But yeah, it's basically, it's suggesting that like in this day and age, like you have to go through with it. Like everyone's coming down on lesbians and telling them now, that they have to do this.
Or that they're like, and really what it is saying is like, it is like the epitome of like sort of turf language, where it's like your trans women are men trying to pressure lesbians into sex. Like that's what it sounds like.
It says it in there. It literally says that in there. Well, yeah, it's like a reverse racism thing.
It's very actually careful in the wording of the article to never use the trans women or men argument, which is, very intentional. It's like, keeping the quiet part quiet. And I'll get to that in a second. But I will say that this article does contain 2 assaults on cis women by trans women. And that absolutely does happen, just like with any other demographic. And I'm not here to denounce or reduce those accounts. I don't think any trans woman, I don't think any trans person is saying that trans people aren't humans or do not commit like inhuman acts, to be more specific.
Sexual assault.
Yeah, that is a thing. And also like, and I'm not to speak on these, the victims or for survivors or anything, but if there wasn't such a harsh narrative and like people like this ready to jump and, blame it on all trans women, there would probably, I'm no expert on this, but be less of a stigma confronting these awful people and these awful things that they did. But it is harder and more nuanced to talk about somebody when they're to talk about a community when they're marginalized. That's the not fun part. And I will say, though, in this article, when quoting, and I'm not trying to, this is not about the woman who is saying the quote. It's in one of the paragraphs. I'm not going to read it because we don't need to do that. Everyone else can read it for themselves. But it's a woman accounting an assault, and bracketed in it, which I just learned now, thanks to my co-host on the podcast, Lewis, when a writer brackets something, that means they are inserting the word. So they have a quote of a survivor, and every single time the pronoun is bracketed, which means either that woman was saying she or he, but it's always changed to them, which I'm not even like trying to be like this person who suffered a horrible assault was misgendering someone and they should be, I'm not calling them out about that. It's just very surreal that the author of the article would change and redact the pronouns in a direct quote from one of the women she's trying to get her voice out of.
Yeah, it's inserting their opinion on what they think that person really is.
Yeah, well, it's more trying to cover up the original statement so that they don't have anyone in the article saying trans women are men.
Right.
Even though, but anyway, that's the really serious part, and that's an unfortunate truth. But it opens with a 24-year-old lady just saying, let me find it. I've had someone say they would rather kill me than Hitler.
Yeah,
they said they would strangle me with a. Yeah, they said they would strangle me with a belt if they were in a room with me and Hitler. And like, I believe someone said this. I mean, I'm guessing someone said this on Twitter. I think that in general, like I've listened to enough Minion Death Cult to know that when someone's bringing up Hitler, they're a relatively unhinged person.
Well, let me say this. Let me bring this up here real quick, just in response to this piece. I mean, I would rather kill somebody that personally wronged me than Hitler, because Hitler's already dead. Like, he doesn't have to be killed. He's been killed already. He's done. So that's just personally
agreed.
For me.
But even but in this situation, it isn't even someone that personally wronged you. It's just someone who has an ideological opposition to you. But yes, I think they fail to account for the fact that Hitler is dead.
Yeah, this is a tweet. That piece right there is 100% a tweet, and this is all personal anecdotal stuff of people saying mean things to somebody. Except for the assault part, which I believe that. I mean, like you said, like trans people are capable of all of the same things that cis people are, and that they're capable of all of the same things as humans. I guess it's because they're humans.
and it sucks because it's like we all have to talk about it so carefully to universally say that this is a problem and this is bad. Like the way the article's worded is to make, one trans girl and two cis men tiptoe around condemning assault. It's really, it's a batshit article, and sometimes the wording is really funny, and sometimes it's actually like, oh damn, I see what you did there. But
it's also, I mean, I will say this, that like it is also a matter of like, I don't know how widespread the problem of people saying, I don't know how widespread this sort of thing could possibly be, where it's like, if you're like not attracted to a person, I don't know if that's like that's not like a problematic behavior to me, but like,
Yeah.
and I think it's more about making pronouncements about that sort of thing,
Yeah.
which is like a shitty behavior. And it would be a shitty behavior if anybody did that. If I just went on the fucking internet and said, I don't find this particular person attractive or like this type of person attractive, like I just think that's a shitty mean thing to do too. And you know, I would hope people don't want to be shitty and mean.
I think a lot of this reads the same way too.
I'm
I do think that a lot of this seems like they are out loud being assholes, and then they only tell the part where like someone said something aggressive after arguing with them for probably 30 minutes while they were being a piece of shit.
Yeah. Also, they're happy to cite tweets. Like they have screen grabs of tweets when they want them, when it's just random unhinged. Maybe not even unhinged, when it's people on Twitter that are proving their point, they have the screen caps. But when it's trying to say like this person threatened me, they don't provide any of the receipts for that. I can be long-winded, so I'm trying to be a little succinct with this. They do have a study. You guys were saying that you don't know how pervasive this is, so they suggest that there's little data or results. It's such a petty way to do it because women are being silenced. But there's only one study they know of. And it is by, I might just forget her name. I'm doing erasure right now. I'm silencing the lesbian community by forgetting this activist name, but it is by a trans exclusionary activist. Yeah. I'll just call her just another Caroline Lowbridge. Caroline Lowbridge 2. And Caroline Lowbridge 2 is as someone that started a group called Get the L Out. That is like a lesbian separatist thing. I'm going to call her a TERF. Now, her study was based on her social media. So it was a poll of her social media, and it was, have you felt pressured into sex by a trans woman? Now, of the people that follow her social media, that's like, if I was to do, a poll on this street fight group about like, what do you think about Joe Biden? Or like, what do you think about bosses? Like that might be slightly skewed information.
Yeah. How many of you have been kicked out of an apartment? Like there's going to be a high number.
How many of you?
Exactly.
What was it when me and Trevor did the episode, Brett? We were fucking talking about, I don't remember what it was. It had something to do with like Mini Coopers. And two people in the chat were like, hey, I got busted with weed in a Mini Cooper. And I was like, that street fight is the only chat where two people would have the same experience of getting busted with weed in a Mini Cooper.
Yeah, I love those damn things.
Yeah, it's like, you could, they say like this may not be a greater representative, but it's important, to get the point across. And also the idea that out of 80 people on a TERF page, they could only get 56% is pretty baffling. They do a couple other things where they say that a large number of women said they had been pressured to accept the idea that a penis could be a female organ. And the implication there is that it's about a sexual thing. But there's no actual statement of that. It's literally just saying, hey, you were pressured to believe trans women are women. And that's just discourse. Like,
yeah. Hey, by the way, I got the car wrong. I'm sorry. I got the car wrong. It's PT Cruisers.
No. Oh, boo.
I'm glad we're being scientific.
Mini Coopers rock.
Yeah, two of our listeners have been busted in PT Cruisers with weed. So
that makes a lot more sense. I was going to say, I didn't think the Brett content was that high enough to get that result.
It was like, you can write a redaction like I'll get to in a second. But yeah, so a lot of real good hard science there, a lot of interviews. They interview then they say like some trans activists are in agreement with this. And they interview this woman that they call a trans activist. but she's a teacher. She's and all of her activism and what she's known for is doing activism to keep trans women out of cis women's spaces. And
Oh, right.
she also refers to herself as an autogynephile, and she says that trans women are men. And they don't include those viewpoints in the article because that would seem turfy. But
It's a news story. It is unbelievable fucking thing to print in on the BBC is government run. The BBC
yeah,
is NPR, which NPR is guilty of some of this shit too, where they'll be like, well, there's two sides to the story, and one side is the craziest possible thing, and the other side is like, and really what this reeks of, I'll say this, what this reeks of is it was an article written so that like Joe Rogan and Joe Rogan's guests type people have something to talk about. You know, I was reading something really interesting, and stop me if you've heard this. You know, this seems like chum for like the Rogan verse.
it absolutely. In a way, I mean, I'm no Rogan expert. I don't think I've really noticed him since news radio. But I almost think that, like, because sometimes he likes to do a I show both sides thing. I almost think that the logic in this is so flawed and so obvious. It's like something he would point out, talk about, and then go back to being transphobic.
No, not
like
I have seen Rogan say.
I defer to you. I defer to you. I just heard him go on the rant about Ace Ventura, and I was like, wow, even he thinks that's awful.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that's true. Maybe that's a good point. But
no, he did a joke about how almonds not having tits to milk. So I think he would definitely be right in line with this theory here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I listened to a ton of his shit too, and yeah, I think you're right. This is just a good thing for people to lean on and say, like, you know, I stand with lesbians, like with real lesbians, you know, that only like clam.
Yeah,
you're
right.
That's what I'm into. That's what I'm about.
It's that alt-right feminism.
Absolutely. That's what the Freak Museum is right. They said none of it has anything to do with feminism. It's just classic paternalism. Like, it's just like white knight type shit. Like, this is disgusting. This is happening in our queer community. Can you believe this shit? I'm so mad about it. You know?
Yeah. And this is like, it's
so
crazy. It is crazy to have lived. I mean, as a 43-year-old, like, who lived through like the gay marriage debate, who was very much an adult in the gay marriage debate period of time, and who grew up in, you know, the 80s and 90s. This is like really standard. I mean, I'm not saying this is the type of thing that they do every time people start to be the person that they are. Like, it's the same kind of arguments that you were having about gay marriage, where it's like, oh, if two men can get married, then why can't a man marry a dog or something like that? Like, there are always these arguments that pop up around any kind of LGBTQ thing, and it's like new frontiers, moving into like new frontiers of like sort of understanding people and understanding gender, when there's a lot of people out there that willfully do not want to understand gender, that will not listen when you explain what being transgendered is, when you explain that gender is just a construct, and that it exists on a continuum and stuff like that. When you start to try to explain that stuff to people, there are a lot of people who are just gonna like be like, I don't care, I don't want to hear it. I you know, like, back in 2004, a lot of the arguments I would get into with people about gay marriage, they would be like, I don't want to hear it. I just think it's gross. And it's just like, okay, like I think you're fucking gross. Like you fucking eat at O'Charlie's and shit out a fucking brick before you go lay in bed with your fucking wife, you know?
Yeah.
Disgusting behavior.
Disgusting. Fucking laying in bed with meat sweats from O'Charlie's.
Heteronormative ass bullshit.
So this article is incredibly long, and in fact, like I'll plug it later if it's cool with you. But I did a whole podcast with my two co-hosts on this, and we didn't even finish it. But there's one thing that I couldn't. We didn't even get to it on our episode because it broke later. But they interview this porn star, Lily Cade, and she was considered a gold star lesbian porn star. And yet again, it was one of those things. She refused to do a scene with a post-op trans woman. And she even said she got like criticism from a radical sect of the internet or whatever. It was a pretty benign part of this article.
Right.
Until about a week later, when it came out that there had been multiple sexual assault allegations. I believe multiple. I'm pretty sure multiple. You can Google Lily Cade. It's all over now. Yeah, there have been multiple accusations of her assaulting other cis lesbian women, and they didn't find that relevant to mention, nor did they do their background research on it. There's another trans porn star who has said that she did interview with them. This is just on Twitter. I don't know her name right off the top of my head, and said she mentioned a Lily Cade thing. That could be true or not, but they literally didn't bother to just like do an in-depth background search on this person that they were using for their article, who is the only rapist in the entire article. Everything else, like, and also there's one argument between two. They cite a lesbian cis couple that got into a fight because one of them wanted to have a threesome with a trans woman and the other didn't, and then they broke up shortly after. They don't even say it was because of the argument. And it's like some poor trans girl got spared a terrible threesome, but had nothing to do with pressuring anyone. But anyway, Lily Cade did not take this new attention well and completely broke down or showed her true colors, whichever, and wrote a manifesto that it does call for the genocide of all trans people, but also all the allies. It also calls for like things I don't even think I want to mention on the air, but she talks about things like shadow demons and talks about how smartphones are ruining us all. It's actually, if you can stomach like an incredible amount of insane hatred, the Lily Cade manifesto is, I think it's in Newsweek right now, and it's just, this whole thing is so fucking baffling. Like, England is, there's huge trans issues going on in England. I cannot speak of them. I am not like a capital T trans woman. I'm really undereducated on a lot of these things. I think, shout out to Lucian. Lucian probably knows a lot about what's going on. I got to ask them. But these aren't the biggest, this isn't the biggest issues going on. It's just absolutely just terrible journalism, and that almost made it less hurtful to pick apart.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna look at the Lily Cade manifesto because I have an insane stomach for hateful stuff. Of course, everybody knows that about me. But I read, just as you were saying that, I looked up and I read some quotes from it, and it is pretty fucking violent. Like, I don't know. I don't know why somebody, I mean, it's very violent. Like, I don't know how to respond to it. I'm just saying, like, Jesus Christ. It's so bullshit out. I don't know how to say it in a way that doesn't sound trivializing, but this stuff pisses me off so much. this is
Oh,
bullshit.
yeah, I mean,
it's a
I
news
think
article by the BBC. You know?
Yeah, and they're pandering, and it's like, oh, some people are hateful. We should play into that, you know. We should put together this bullshit, and they should be held accountable for this. I mean, there is so many fucking holes in it to anybody that has a shred of integrity.
And all that they did it was remove the Lily Cade section and put a small, like, bold paragraph at the end of the article after everybody's done reading,
Underneath the Bat
explaining
Boy
that Lily
ads.
Cade made some comments.
Right.
Yeah, underneath the ads, like, we all go to the very end of the article and look underneath the ads for any possible little, like, hidden cuts. It's like at the end of a Marvel movie or some shit.
Yeah, you gotta see there's some fruit in the Amazon that will shrink your belly fat. You gotta click on those articles.
Under the Lotus Pod Titty ads. Remember the Lotus Pod Titty?
Yeah.
That thing was scary as hell, though. That's no bullshit. The Lotus Pod Titty was one of the scariest things I ever saw in my life. Well, plug your podcast.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Oh yeah. Okay, before I go,
so let me explain the Lotus Pod Titty to you first. There was a viral post. There was a viral post going around Facebook for like probably 8 years or 5 or 6 years ago at least, about a girl who went and got a bra and it had some kind of animals, some kind of bug inside of the bra, and when she put it on, it laid eggs. And what the person had done was like photoshopped a lotus pod where the nipple on a titty would be, and you would just see it all the time, and it looked like the scariest fucking thing in the world. It was so disturbing looking until somebody explained it was a lotus pod, and I was like, oh god, that was scary.
Yeah, it's a big trypophobia trigger.
It was bad.
Yeah, I gotta say that Buckeye thing is kind of more terrifying. I just Googled this too. I'm looking at all kinds of cool images tonight because of this podcast. But damn, the more you know. But yeah,
that titty's scary,
I got a podcast. I got a podcast. It's called Dimes, Dimes. It's me, my friend Molly, who's another trans woman, and my friend Lewis, who's a trans dude. And we're not really like capital T super serious trans people, but we did delve into this because no one else had yet. And we're just kind of figuring it out. This might not be the best way to sell it, but I feel like in media and trans representation, it's either just like batshit weird Twitter or Instagram stuff, or like very serious things. And it's either about how beautiful and amazing trans existence is or how horrible we suffer. And it's like, it's kind of in the middle. And yeah, if you want to hear 3 debatably hot, definitely funny trans people talk shit and sometimes touch on important topics, we're all anarchists. Yeah, it's Dimes. If you search it on Apple Podcasts, it should be the first thing. And I'm going to pull up and make sure I got my Twitter right. Sorry, I'm not very prepared. I was like distracted by this Lotus thing.
It freaks me out to look at. I have it up now too, and every picture on the image search is, I might have this trypophobia, but probably is not a real thing because oof. That's scary looking. Oh
yeah, oh man, yeah. I just saw it being saying. I saw like 6 different ads using that image, but
You ever seen like those? Go ahead.
Sorry, no, you first.
No, I'm just gonna those frogs that have those holes in their backs that like their babies come out of.
No, I don't want to see that.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That's a good test.
Okay, but yeah, Dimes podcast on Apple, Spotify, whatever. It's the one with the trans flag color Punisher skull with anime eyes. And we're at Dimes podcast on Twitter. So yeah, check us out. We could use the support. And I love you guys so much. Thanks for providing me with all this parasocial entertainment. And actually being my friends.
Yeah, we'll see you in New York when we get out there. We will really make well, I really want to go, so we will see you.
Okay.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Okay, have a good one. Love y'all. Bye.
Yeah.
Peace.
It's a good podcast too. I like it. I listen to them. It's still new, so it's still very sloppy and loosey goosey. But they say some shit on there that makes me blush. It's pretty good, like reckless, boundary pushing stuff. I think it's a good. I think it's a good show. I'd like to see where they're at a year from now.
Yeah. Yeah. Sweet.
All right.
All
Oh
right.
man, it's late. We did some long calls. All right. Next call. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Charlie from Jackson, Michigan. How y'all doing?
Great.
Doing
How are
great.
you, Charlie?
Hey, I'm sick as dog shit, but actually, I was the one. One of them that got the weed charge in the PT Cruiser. So,
Okay.
oh,
Our
PT
demographic.
Cruiser weed charge.
yeah, we were just fucking kids. You know what I mean? Like, my fucking friend had just got his license. We're like, oh, let's go get like 2 grams of weed. So we just packed a car full of fucking kids and got pulled over right as we're like a block away. Just stupid shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So what's going on tonight?
but
What's up?
oh, not much. I just want to keep it brief. I got a Street Fight Halloween story from last week. I figured y'all might appreciate.
Yeah, we love it.
So I got played a house show, my close friends, and we were all getting pretty gnarly, pretty messed up. And one of my friends was like, "Oh, dude, let's go fuck up my car because you just got a new car." So we're out there and stomping on the car. And my drunk ass just kicks a fucking huge ass, kicks the back window in, shredded up my leg and shit. Yeah, yeah. It was fucking fun. I mean, I was wearing fucking flip flops. I went as Jesus and Adidas, so I had like robes, just like a white robe, crown of thorns, fake blood, fucking flip flops. Kicked the fucking window in with some flip flops and just shredded my shit up.
It's badass, though. Worth it?
Oh, fuck yeah, it was. I ended up, for the worst of it was in my hand somehow. I don't even know how that happened. But I ended up having to get 5 stitches. But before I went to the hospital, I just fucking, killed the set and pulled a like 1/4 inch piece of glass out of my knee. Just, one of those kind of nights.
You were like christening the car or something?
Was it new? Was it a new car?
No. This was an old car. It was scrap. He had just got the new car, so things happen. You offer up the old one. Lucky it didn't get like set on fire or nothing. After I kicked their fucking glass in, they were like, "All right, we maybe need to stop doing this."
Too much fun, gang.
That's awesome, though. I would love to break a car. I've smashed some stuff in my life, but I would love to like have a fully 100% legal smash sesh.
Rage room.
You strike me as the kind of guy who smashed some cars. That surprises me. I really recommend it. It's like something takes over you. You just get animalistic about it.
I remember when there was this one of my friends drove us out to a party when we were younger. And she locked her keys in the car, and she was like, we were like, fuck, now we have to call our parents. She's like, no fucking way, we're breaking the window. I'll just tell my parents that somebody broke the window. So somebody wrapped a towel over their hand and just smashed the fucking window, and everybody cheered when it happened.
That's so awesome. That's genius, though. That's a great way to get away with it. Oh, so I got in the car this morning. Gwen had been out driving. I got in the car and the seatbelt was still plugged in,
Oh,
thing. And I was like, I came in and I looked at her and I was like, oh, but she said she was gonna tell us because she wanted to feel rebellious and drive without a seatbelt and didn't like it. And I was just like, okay, whatever. But yeah. I smashed, you know what I smashed? I'm going to tell the caller what I smashed, Brett. The skee ball machines at a Chuck E. Cheese. I got to smash the skee ball machines at a Chuck E. Cheese.
What that skee ball machine do to you?
Nothing. They were getting new ones, and they can't like give anything to like charity or anybody, so they have to destroy them. So
That's great. There's no skee ball charities.
no, I mean I would have taken a skee ball lane. I think if I had a skee ball lane in my house, my life would be completely different now. Like that's
like having like a bowling thing.
Yeah. I love skee ball. I'm really good at skee ball, so yeah, I would love to. But well, congratulations on smashing a car like the Bad Dudes. Is it Bad Dudes the game?
Yeah.
Where you smash the car? I
Street Fighter also.
Tell you.
Oh, Bad Dudes was my
Street
favorite
Fighter
game
for sure.
growing up. Yeah, because I was a bad dude kind of guy. So, well, thanks for calling.
Yeah, all right. I'll talk to y'all later.
Yeah,
Have
glad
a
it
good
worked.
night.
What's the
Fucking Bad
band?
Dudes.
What's the band?
What band?
He said he did
The
a set
band?
at a house show. Yeah, did you do a
what's
set
your
at a house
band?
show? Yeah.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Sorry, fucking my band is Alcoholic Dads. And and it's just me, but so look us up on Bandcamp. Look me up on Bandcamp, just Alcoholic Dads. I'll be dropping something sooner or later. Cool ass DIY punk shit. You know the deal.
Love it.
Sweet. Well, thanks. Thank you for calling.
I think we have to give the show to him now. I think he just did
Alcoholic
it.
Dad.
He lives it better than we do.
He's a bad dude.
Straight up
One of the
bad
bad dudes.
dude.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling Street Fighter. Who we talking to tonight?
Hi, yes, it's Grayson from Orange County, California. Normally go by Fixer Punk in the chat. It's been a long while since I called, so I thought I'd just quickly check in with the show.
How's it going, Grayson?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, good. Yeah. So I'm gonna, since it sounds like you guys had a lot of calls, probably have a lot of people in the queue, I'm just gonna quickly give you this one funny story that I've been waiting for the right opportunity to tell it, but it's one of those military recruiter stories. So I didn't go to conventional high school, so I didn't have those types of experiences in the school context. I actually tested out of high school early at age 15.
Damn,
and
Grayson.
Smart.
Thank you. Yeah, it's because I actually paid attention to a set of notices that the school is required to give you. I was in an online school and then in a homeschool program, and they send out a notice that in California you have the opportunity to take a test where you'll be given the legal equivalent by statute of a high school diploma if you pass this test at the Department of Education. And I saw that and I was like, I want to go to college early. Let me go and take that test. And I took it and I wound up passing it, which obviously I was very happy about. Allowed me to pick up some time. I kind of lost some time in my life, not advancing in things as quickly as I wanted to, but it's great that I had that opportunity to be able to do that. But that aside, this is gonna be a really, really weird story. So I was waiting outside of like a UPS store type place. And the trash can was behind the counter, and I had just like sneezed into. I think I walked outside to like sneeze into a tissue, and the trash can they didn't see one inside the store because it's probably behind the counter, but there was one all the way down at the end of this strip mall. It's in the strip mall. I don't know, like you see like 5 shops there, and the store at the very end. Where the trash can was in front of was an Army recruiting center. And I think it was the Army, may have been another branch, I'm not sure. But what happened was I just walked over there. The trash can was overfilled, so I was a little bit hesitant to put another piece of trash into an overfilled trash can for some reason. So I just kind of hesitated a little because I was trying to see, is there another trash can around here that's not overfilled?
Mm-hmm.
And then just as I was about to throw my tissue into this trash can, a recruiter walks out and he's like, Hi. Well, what are you doing here today? Something really weird like that. How are you doing today? And I was like, oh, fine. Okay, so what are you? He was asking me like, why are you here? What are you looking for? I said, well, I'm just here to throw this into the trash can. And he's like, we have a trash can inside here. Come in. And I said, no, thank you. I just dropped it into the overstuffed trash can. So
I like that. I
is
like the moxie that you have there, and I also am like really. I gotta say, you know, I'm also liking the recruiter in this story in a way, because that's like a real tenuous kind of thing. You're like, you see somebody throwing something away and they're like, well, I'm just throwing something away, and you're like, hey man, we got better trash cans inside.
No,
like
nothing.
anybody cares.
They're all pieces of shit. Every single one of them is the biggest piece of shit. Like there's nothing to like. They are the most wicked and evil people of them all. I mean, they are just liars and thieves and crooks. Nothing to like about them.
Okay, yeah, true.
Sorry.
I mean, that is a good point. That is.
I mean, that's what they do with everybody. I mean, I had a dog one time and they came and talked to me like, your dog's so cool. Oh, do you want to join the fucking army? It's like, no, I just met your ass.
Yeah. Now you see I'm like liking random posts of people on social media. You see that kind of stuff going on. Like you'll look at like Instagrams of local gyms, and you'll find the recruiter from one of the branches of the military putting a comment or a like on there. Yeah, so that was all I really called into. I'll let you guys move on. Is it okay if I give my social media and my podcast information?
Yeah,
go for it.
Yeah. So pretty much everything is at fixerpunk.com, FIXERPUNK.com. Fixerpunk is also my name on both Instagram and TikTok. I've been putting a lot more effort over into TikTok, so if you're on there, follow at Fixerpunk there. Twitter is at Grayson Nation. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure speaking with you.
Yeah, thanks for calling, buddy.
Polite young man.
All right.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to burst your bubble there, Brian.
My bubble's perfectly fine.
It's just like that's like someone should flash a gold tooth. We got plenty of good trash cans inside, you know? Like it feels like the devil is talking to you.
It's like a salesman sort of thing.
It is.
You know?
That's what they're doing. They're trying to get a fucking water bottle. They're trying to get a hydro flask if they get 6 people to sign over their lives to the government.
Yeah. The heat kicked on in my house.
Mine did
this
too.
Room I'm in is really small. I'm sweating my nuts off. So
cool.
Let's get this.
We got a couple more and then we're done.
We got a couple more. All right.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, Brett Bryan, am I talking to you?
Yes, you are.
I had a story I'm going to tell. I'll tell it another week, but I just want to say, trans rights rock, and you guys rock.
Thanks. We try. We roll too, though, as well. Just we're 50-50 rocking and rolling.
Fair enough. All right, guys. Have a good night.
You too. We have time, but it's fine. I get it. I'll answer you first. I'm gonna put an answer first on your name here, so we'll get your story next time. I appreciate you making sure we can get out of work before we have to do overtime.
Yeah, I just texted Gwen. I'm sweating my nuts off in here, so hopefully she fixes this situation.
You think she'll know what to do with that information?
Yeah. She was texting me, you can close the vent. And I'm like, not from in here, I can't. You can't close the vent from in here.
Okay.
I don't know you can close a vent, dude. I'm a dad.
Yeah, the kids will hit you with some real basic stuff that it's just kind of offensive, you know?
I honestly can't believe she could hear me complaining.
They think you're really stupid. And in fact, they are super stupid.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that, because that is totally fucking true. They will hit you with well, didn't you know this? And you're like, motherfucker, yeah, I know everything you know and more.
Like, why didn't you take the trash out on time? Yeah. I have a million other things going on. Why didn't you fucking make your own food today?
Yeah. But I taught you, I know everything you know. Okay.
Right.
So you come to me saying, you know, have you ever heard of this? It's like, I have. I did.
Think about Think about how dumb you think I am. I'm your goddamn teacher. So what do you think you are? You're a sliver of my stupidity. You're a splinter of my stupidity. You don't know shit.
That's a good point too, Brett. It is kind of like
That
I mean,
is-
everything you know comes from a knowledge base created by me.
yeah, you chose the wrong teacher. Sorry. If you're so smart, you should have defected to another smarter family. You shouldn't have stuck with us. You should have known the smart move. So don't talk to me about being brilliant and shit.
If you lived in the dispossessed, you'd have definitely moved on to somebody else.
Yeah. If you had the chance on the island, I just would have stay with your aunt and uncle that like have their shit together and aren't like stressing all the time.
Yeah. That would be a better place for you, is with your aunt and uncle, I think.
All right. That's a good way to go all in on them. Well, how about you live somewhere else? I'll sign the papers.
My stepmom did that once.
Okay.
She was pissed off at me for something, and I was like, I'm gonna call child abuse, which I thought was just a number you called, and she
Right.
threw the phone book at me and said, go ahead and fucking do it. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. But I
Yeah.
was yelling that because I thought it would get me out of trouble.
Not
And
gonna
you
work.
would apologize to me.
Not gonna happen. All right. Last call.
All right.
We'll be done in time. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hello, I'm the last call. This time it's Zuleika again.
What's up? Who is it?
Who?
Hello, Zuleika. I'm the one who called last week, I think, with the crazy boss who wouldn't pay me and told me to lie to clients and all that.
Yes.
Yeah, Valeha. I remember. Well, what's up? What's going on this week?
Well, I just have a super short anecdote that mashallah, I got paid today.
All
All
right.
right.
Good news.
Good news.
That's the
You
secret.
got your paycheck. You were the contractor situation where they were like, you went to HR and you were like, hey, I haven't got my paycheck. And they're like, sometimes you just don't get your paycheck. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, that was me. I put the vibes out in the universe with you guys, and I just wanted to thank you.
Well, thank you. Thanks for thanks for updating us. I love getting updates. So I appreciate it.
It's great news.
I'm gonna yell
Yes,
Excelsior.
it is. Thanks again. And
You're gonna make these fuckers pay with like vandalism too.
Yeah, I'll go fucking hand.
well, I was gonna start like a social media smear campaign with my quote unquote union. It's not a real union because we're all contractors, but we don't have to do that right now. But I might later anyway because I fucking hate these people. But anyway,
Okay.
Yeah, go for it. Drag their name through the mud on Glassdoor.
yeah, just like. But for now, I'm gonna wallow in my $3,000.
Fuck yeah, go for it. Well, thanks for calling in. It's good to hear.
Yes, thank you. Have a great night.
You
Congratulations.
too. All right, Brett.
That's it.
We did it. We did the call-in show. I'm gonna go turn the heat off now.
Yep.
I
Dry your
can't
nuts
believe
off.
My daughter heard me complaining. I mean, I don't like the idea that they're listening, you know. But
My kid is listening to the whole show. No, my kid is watching YouTube, but she can definitely hear the ranting and ravings of her madman father.
that's true. Mine too. All right. Well, we
They need
will
to know the
see-
truth about us.
We will see you Wednesday at I don't know 6:30, 6:45. We
I'm-
don't really know yet.
Yeah, I want to go to a Dying Fetus concert. So the earlier the better. I want to start at like 6 if we can.
All right.
I'm trying to see the openers.
Okay. Well, that is the show. We'll see you Wednesday.